In today's video, I'm going to share with you 42 tips how I keep my home somewhat clean and organized. Not perfectly, just somewhat. I'm going to use all natural cleaners and I'm going to share with you many hacks and tips. When we finish with a meal, we usually just grab our plate and the vitamins are left behind, or we sit down and we have to go back because we forgot the vitamins. So this easy solution, a basket with the lid, will solve the problem, and I also keep the decoration very simple in this room. Use mat that is cut to the size at the bottom of the drawer. I use the same that I used in my cabinets for the drawers. You can easily remove it and clean it instead of dragging the whole entire drawer out each week. Once in a while I do more detailed cleaning, but it helps the weekly cleaning go way faster. I use 3 main storage systems to keep my food fresh longer and to be able to see what I actually have in there. Simple jars with the same wide lid, so all lids are the same and the glass will keep the food fresh way longer than the plastic, and it's way better for your health. Great way to store all the random things on the little shelves on the door. I cut up a few vegetables so they will be ready to eat in the next day or two, and all the rest I will put them in the second method of storage system that I like to use, and that will be the swirling vacuum system. I have a glass one and I have more of the bag ones that are reusable, and I like to use them in the refrigerator and in the freezer. I'm able to save so many food that way because they don't go bad that fast. It also helps my cooking during the week because the main part of that takes away my time during cooking is to prepare the vegetables. So once a week I can prepare them, peel them, and just put them into this bag, and they will be ready to use and I can cook faster.
And dinner at restaurant Le Maurice. Oh no, no, it's not a diss. I only drink fizzy fizz. Oh, oh, throw me a kiss. Belle Cook, oh, oh. Sweet Belle Cook, oh, oh. La Belle Cook, oh, oh. Belle Cook.
The third storage system that I like to use are metal containers that are for items I want to store flat or are bigger amount, or when we're traveling and taking food from home. I can also freeze food in them, but I even more like these swirling bags because I can create a filing system so I get to see what I actually have. Having one mat at outside and one inside, it's a huge buffer to bring in the dirt. The other issue that we were dealing with, we have lots of rain, sometimes our coat is wet, so we cannot put them straight into the closet. So we put these hooks up and we can dry the clothes there, and then we can put them back into the closet. We also have some basket for each family member with the hats and mittens, so it's easier to locate everything as we're going out in a hurry. We used to have a shredder which was jammed a couple of times. It was always full. Recycling was a little bit more complicated because we had to gather everything into a paper bag. And this little gadget, I love this so much because I can just cover our name and address, all the private informations, so it will be safe to recycle, and it definitely speeds up the time on the recycling process. I like to store my things on the desk as vertical because it takes up way less space that way. Have a home where it's clean and tidy enough to make you feel good rather than stressing you out. It can go both ways. You can get stressed from the mess or trying to keep up the home where everything is put together all the time. Once you figure out your sweet spot, you can create a system that is serving you, not the other way around. In our living room, it's very simple. We just have the everyday items that we use. We are way more relaxed in the bedrooms with the kids' toys, and then in the living room where we always get together, and the four of us in there multiple times a day. We invite our friends there, so we're trying to simplify things as much as possible. But I have to tell you, when our kids were little, I remember we used to have this couch taken apart. We had blankets everywhere and train tracks. So they are older now, so it was easier to simplify, but I did love the fact that they were playing in the living room. But these days it's much simpler. What makes this room very easy to tidy up, that we have less stuff and each has its home where to put it back. It is very personal how we decorate our bedroom, but I was aiming for something that is very simple because after all, most of the time when I'm in this room, my eyes are closed. So I want to deal with less in the morning and at night, and after a long day, I just want to have a nice clean bed where I can just plop in and go to sleep fast. And sometimes I read in there, so I like the soft colors and it's very soothing and calming, but I'm trying to keep it simple so it's easy to clean and keep it up with. The problem that can occur in this room is just too much clothes to wash. I think everybody can relate to that. How do we create more laundry? Having a hard time picking clothes and changing it too often. Clean clothes gets mixed with the dirty one. How to simplify? Create a wardrobe that can push you through to your next laundry day. When you can get around that, so that can change person to person, but if you do a load a day, the dirt won't set into your clothes. Think about the dishes when you wash a freshly used plate or the next day when it's all dried on it. If you let the clothes sit in the hamper for a long time, they're going to get wrinkly and the smell will set in. You can soak whites with a pre-soak option on the washing machine, or just to stop the washing machine to soak it. Kids can do a lot of help in that area as well. They can turn out their clothes, they can pair the socks, and they can put on the sheet. And once you separate all the clothes that you have to wash, they can just fill up the washing machine. There are many things that are little things, but they can help you on the long run. And of course, as they are getting older, they can help a lot more. If you don't like to fold, you can hang things, but folded clothing takes up way less space. According to how much space you have, organize in a way that it has an easy flow. I folded my clothing in the way that makes the most sense to me, and that is layers. And the bottom layer is the one that is the first row, and then the next one is the long sleeves, and then the next one is the thicker shirts. I like to use hooks even in the closet just for the fast tidy up so I can hang things. So for adults, I like to fold the shirts because they take up less space. But for the kids, I like to hang them because kids don't pay that much attention when they go through on their clothes, and they kind of digging, and that way they get to see what's on the front of the shirt, and it's very easy to put it on. They don't have to fold it, it's easy to take down. That is something, it's a big help. So it depends on the situation. Sometimes folding is better, but sometimes hanging clothes is better. Sometimes even little things can be very helpful, like putting the basket where it's supposed to be. I used to put the basket where I thought it looks cute and it makes sense, but that's not how my family functions. They have their own thoughts where they want to throw their clothes, where it's more convenient. So now I'm just putting there the basket, but if this is the spot that they are throwing their clothes, that's where the basket needs to be. I leave the door open at all times. Even though now I have a window, I still like to leave it open. Mold loves dark and humid environments. I like to have cleaning tools handy so I can do a quick clean here and there as I get around that, so it won't get to the point where I need to scrub.
Put your trust into us and we will help.
I keep the decor very minimal. We have already so much going on in this teeny tiny room. I organize things by how often they are used, and I only have just a couple of items that I use every single day, and they come very handy in this cute box.
I know that you are having trouble believing right.
As I mentioned earlier, in the office space, the vertical storage is definitely space saver, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just organizing all those curling irons into this tall basket, and it's a perfect size. They can stand up, so it's easy to choose which one I want to use.
In this world, but you have to put your trust into us and we will have.
The sink. Wash a dish every time you need to wash your hands. You will be surprised how often you have to wash your hands as you cook, and how many dishes will disappear from your sink that way. Clean as you cook, cook as you clean. The key to clean things in the kitchen with less effort is to clean them when the mess is fresh. We will have to clean it, and the sooner we do it, the easier it will be. I'm trying my best to remember this, and it does give me some discipline to get things done on the spot. But sure, there are days when I have a headache or busyness gets in the way, but I'm working on it. Have a tray to gather random things that you often use. Hanging bags at storage on an otherwise useless space, and you will have an easy access to the onions and potatoes, and they will stay fresh longer if they are in a place with good ventilation. Baking parchment paper is stored here too.
We only want what's best for you.
Try to avoid sponge. In an industrial kitchen, sponges are banned because they have so much bacteria. I used this soft scrubber. It dries in 10 minutes. At night, I soak them in hydrogen peroxide for about 10 minutes or 15 minutes. When I wash the cutting board, I make it wet on both sides to avoid tilting.
I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive. It's just
Dry it immediately and treat it with some fractionated coconut oil once a week.
down, feel alive when I'm in this town.
Have a great flow for the disposal in a designated area. This is very important. If this gets clogged, my countertop will show it. The easier is to put out the recycle or the compost, the more I'm willing to do it. So I put the recycle bin in the garage right next to the door. Have a place to dry towels and brushes. Find a hidden spot to put hooks where you can hang wet towels. Having those towels out of sight will make your kitchen more put together. Zone organizing, it's a way of organizing the kitchen that more people can work in there at the same time. Less walk required between tasks. I store the dishes close to the dishwasher that we have to wash the most often and we have more of it, and I have some towels next to the sink. Underneath I have some glasses and I have some wooden plates underneath that. The most convenient area holds all the dishes that I use to prepare breakfast, and that is close to the pantry, so I don't have to go far to grab all the flours, and the supplies are all in this area for baking. I like to have jars to get a sense of how much I have, and I store empty jars here once they run out of the content, and that way I have a good sense of how much space I have and how much space I can fill up with new inventory. Boxes are designed to grab the attention in the store, and the packaging are designed to show you it's more than it actually is, and also it can interfere with your decision and creativity. Instead, when I look at the food in the jars, I can see the actual food. I can write the expiration date on the bottom, but I don't usually do that because we go through quickly what we have in the jars. It gives a nice cohesive look and keeps the focus on the food, and I can create categories with each row, one for tea, two for spices, another one for seeds. They come in a large variety and some can be found at the second-hand store. You can source them very easily. Thank you so much for watching until the end. And if you enjoyed this video, please share and like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!